Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Matt.
Welcome to roleplaychat.
We are two game masters who can't stop talking about role-playing games.
And today we talk about the lessons we've learned trying to set up ambience and tone in our game.
I know you guys probably all already know how to use candles and music in your games to elevate and make the game more fun for your players. But there's a lot more to it than just having, a creepy backdrop to the game that you're playing.
Yeah, so we have six lessons we've learned. The first lesson I think I've learned is to be really patient when I'm trying to set up a scene with some kind of ambience and tone. Maybe I'm trying to create something dramatic. Well, if the players are having fun, eating Funyuns and joking about the weekend, it's not the time to bring the crazy NPC who's gonna make a big reveal. I need to be patient, to have the space, the moment to bring the ambience I want to.
Yeah, and get that mood really back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the second lesson that we've learned is there's actually a big correlation between the space you're using and the ambience and mood you're trying to set. So make sure you're aware of the space you're in. If you're going for a more cozy, relaxed kind of atmosphere and ambience, use your living room, sit down on have the battle mat on the coffee table, sit down in sofas, relax, joke around. But if you're looking for something more intimate, consider a more small and enclosed space. Consider sitting at a kitchen table where everyone's sitting on chairs where they can sit up straight. Less distractions that way.
The third one is to control your voice. So there's a lot of talk about music when setting up ambience, and that's great. But sometimes soundtrack, or even things like Sirenscape, where you can actually push a button to have like a specific sound bite. Mm-hmm. Well, you can maybe do it your voice. That will remove the delay it comes from actually going to the app and pressing a button. It's not a big deal, but controlling your voice is bigger than this. It's also about when you're doing a description or you're an NPC, actually having a voice or a tone that fits with what you're trying to convey. If you're trying to be like creepy, doing a description while taking a creepy voice could actually add a layer that is not attainable by just reading a description.
And it might be a little bit intimidating actually. So don't be afraid. If you have to practice in the shower, practice while you're driving. I actually practice NPC voices when I'm driving to work. So
Yeah, me too.
All right, the fourth tip is not to hold your ambience to an impossible standard. I know I, for one, have experienced this. I put a lot of thought into the ambience that I'm trying to set, into the mood that I'm trying to set, and even into the preparation of my game. So sometimes I can get a little bit frustrated with just the situation when my players start to joke around. Mm-hmm. It happens to everybody, and really we just have to kind of, as game masters, accept it. Not to an extreme, but it's part of everyone's fun to have a couple of laughs. So just roll with the punches, and I've actually come to learn that it's almost good to put little pressure releases in your game. If you don't have the opportunity for your players to make a joke, they're gonna take it anyway. So give them that chance. Have ups and downs in the ebb and flow of your plot, in the mood and in the ambience that you're setting. Maybe change the music to something more jovial to kind of indicate that this is the opportunity for them to make a joke.
The next lesson is
to put a coat on if you're cold.
Yes,
right,
yes,
Chris?
yes. I was cold. We're in the basement here. Is to prepare static descriptions. So when I started DMing, or game mastering, I should say, I had like text box, and there was some descriptions of locations, but also description of events. Someone walking mysteriously and then going up the stairs. And I used that for a while, and I realized they were not working. And then I stopped using prepared text altogether. And lately I've started reintroducing it, and I found out that the best thing I could do is doing descriptions, what I call static description of locations, of basically first impression. So NPCs, description of NPCs, of location, of anything you can actually see or hear or feel, but no events. So stay out of events, because if you describe someone walking mysteriously and going up the stairs, your players are going to want to interact with it, which is totally fine. But if you're in the middle of a description and you're not done and you want to after describe the bar, it's going to break the mood. It's going to create a cut, and then going back to your text it's not going to feel natural or organic.
And this brings us to our very last lesson. I'm sure we're going to learn plenty of other ones as we continue to Game Master. But this last lesson is essentially just remember that ambience is a tool that enhances storytelling. Game mastering and role-playing games are a collaborative storytelling experience. And the candles, the music, the lighting, and the temperature, descriptions, all these things are just ways to enhance that storytelling. So keep that in mind. Make sure that your ambience has purpose and that it also contributes to the mood in the same sense, in the same direction. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. So to be consistent and not to put a prop just for the sake of putting a prop. It should add something to your storytelling.
Exactly. So I hope these 6 lessons helped you. I know that it took us maybe a little bit longer than we dare admit to get to these lessons. You know, you make a couple of mistakes for quite some time before you make that concrete change of thought. So hopefully you don't have to make those mistakes. You can learn from us. And if you have other lessons that you've learned about about ambience, rather, please reach out to us. You can do so by contacting us on Twitter. That's at roll_play_chat.
Or we have an email. That's contactroleplaychat@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening, guys. And thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Matt.
Let's call it a chat.